My name is Jack Ritchie. I was born and raised in Ruston. I'm going to tell you about the balloon ascension. I got down there about 9:30 in the morning on a bright sunny day. It was probably on a Saturday when everybody could come to town. It was round about the 1st of October. I was a young fellow, only about 6 or 7 years old. They were building a fire and blowing the hot air into this balloon. There was a guy dressed in red tights. His shirt fitted him really tight with sleeves that came down and had cuffs. He had red slim legs. He looked pretty slick to me. He was walking around in this tight suit telling folks, "Put the fire to it, put the fire to it, get it hot, boys." Finally, the balloon got bigger and bigger, and he had some heavy, strong men holding the ropes to keep it from going up. It kept getting bigger and bigger, and finally he let them ease up on those ropes a little bit, and the thing got up in the air. By that time, a huge crowd of people had gathered around, several hundred people all around the balloon. I could hardly get up to the balloon. The place was so packed and jammed with people. I'd gotten up so early. I had a front row seat. I don't mean a seat. Everybody was standing up. Lots of people were there. Finally, the man hollered, "Turn her loose." Sure enough, the balloon started easing up in the air. The fellow jumped in the basket and hung on. He waved at all of us, and up in the air it went. We were just amazed. We had never seen anything like this before. Yes, that thing got up about 100 or 200 feet in the air. It got up high. All of a sudden, that thing turned wrong side out and belched forth all that gas and made such a terrible racket. You never saw such an exodus of people in your life. I was one of the first to break and run. I was pretty speedy back in my young days, but I was passed by some pretty strong men. I never saw people run so fast to get away. When that thing turned wrong side out, this fellow came down to the ground a whole lot faster than he was supposed to. I think he broke several ribs and a leg or two. It didn't kill him, but by the time he hit the ground, very few people were left around to pick him up. We had our day of balloon ascension, and believe me, it was quite an experience.
Hello, I am J.E. Mitchell, and I grow peaches. I have been selling peaches for 76 years. I was the first Peach Festival chairman in 1951, and I was president of the Louisiana Fruit Growers Association at this time. I had about 100 trees in my first orchard back in 1929. My first trees were in Cleveland Parish, where I was born. Music and peaches have been my life. I have been a teacher, a principal, a music director, and a peach farmer. As I get older, my son, Joe Mitchum, has taken over the peach business. Before 1985, there were 1,000 acres of peaches, and now we have 95 acres. We have a yield of about 10,000 bushels each year. The Louisiana Squire Creek Peach Festival has quite an impact on our parish. The last few years have brought in about $4.5 million. We have visitors from all over the world.
My name is Dorothy Kidd Nicole Clinton, and I'm the great-granddaughter of Mr. Milton Bailey Kidd. Mr. Milton Bailey Kidd moved his wife and 2 children into this house. They came to Ruston from Vernon, Louisiana. He was a very successful businessman, and one of his jobs had to do with cotton. He was a cotton factor in this area. He would pick up bales of cotton and transport them to warehouses in Trenton. They were loaded on barges and sent down to the Washita River to the Mississippi River to New Orleans. There the cotton was made into clothing. Great-grandfather was known to be a Christian. His grave marker said, "An honest man is the finest work of God." I am very proud of my great-grandfather.
My name is Elise Glasgow, and my parents are Claude and now Davis Glasgow. My brother is Buddy Glasgow. The Chautauqua organization was first established in 1874 in the village of Chautauqua, New York. The man responsible was a bishop in the Methodist Church. His name was John Vincent. The idea for the Chautauqua was to provide an education to people through public lectures and entertainment, such as concerts and plays. By 1890, there were 200 Chautauqua-type organizations. One of the most famous was this one right here in Ruston. The official dates were 1890 to 1914. My family enjoyed taking the train or riding in a carriage out to the Chautauqua grounds. We enjoyed the events every summer. Friends would come from all over Louisiana and listen to speeches and take courses. Some would stay in the beautiful Chautauqua Hotel, and they would dip their feet in the healing springs. Our parents learned new things, and the kids were allowed to play and enjoy the spring. Sometimes we even had watermelon parties. Mom and Dad would say the Chautauqua experience helped bring Louisiana Tech to Ruston. I have wonderful memories of the Chautauqua.
My name is Billy Green. I grew up in this house. My grandfather and grandmother bought this house in 1921. My grandfather, Robert Wesley Davis, had the Davis Lumber Company in Ansley, Louisiana. He was in business with James, John, and Virgil Davis. These were his brothers. My grandmother, Charlotte Arabella Long Davis, had two brothers who were governors of Louisiana. Huey P. Long and Earl Cayley Long were their names. They visited this house many times. My grandfather was very excited when we finally had rail service from the northern part of our state to the southern part of our state. The railroad cars brought the sawmill to Ansley, and they even brought the people who worked at the sawmill to Ansley. Having both the east, west, and north-south railroads in Ruston made us quite a hub.
Hello, my name is Pat Smith, and I am the grandson of Ben Smith. I would like to tell you about the racetrack. Ben Smith was a businessman in Ruston long ago. In the early 1900s, he and some friends built a racetrack on some property he owned. This property is the Tech Farm today. Harness or sulky racing was very popular then. Races were conducted on Sunday afternoons, and there was quite a bit of wagering on these races. Ben Smith bought a horse named Star Patch for $2,500. The national champion sulky racer at the time was named Dan Patch. Grandpa thought his horse was better. On his first race, Star Patch won $1,000. I'm not sure when the racing ended, but the embankments of the old track are still visible. From an airplane, it is clearly visible today.
Back in the 1850s, when the people were heading west, they stopped right here in Lincoln Parish. This mural shows us why. Just look at the beautiful surroundings, the deer, the ducks, the pine trees, and the rolling hills, and the abundance of streams and rivers. Thank you to all the men and women who came before us. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to grow up and raise our families in these beautiful piney hills of North Louisiana.
We hope you have enjoyed our Walls That Talk. This is Margaret Ann Emery, the official hostess at the Lincoln Parish Museum. I would like to give a thank you to Douglas Emery for recording our voices for Walls That Talk. And thank you to the following students: Liam Norton as Jack Ritchie, Thomas Hudson as J.E. Mitchum, Charlotte Hudson as Dorothy Kidd Nicole Clinton, Elise Germany as Elise Glasgow, Evan Tompkins as Billy Green, Josh Curry as Pat Smith, Reba Ann Emery represented the Emery family, and all the other families who have roots and ties to the piney hills of Lincoln Parish. Thank you for coming to our museum, and please come back.